Welcome back to Close to Creation. My name is Caitlin and I am super excited that you are here. You're definitely in for a treat today, especially if you have no idea who I am or what this channel is, because today is going to be all about a Q&A. But before we get into that, I just want to let you know that we're currently in Indiana. We're in a little German town called Batesville, and it's a super cute town. If you've never been there, you've probably never heard of it. I've definitely never heard of it before, but it's been a great place to stay, and the weather is just so beautiful right now. Like, can we just take a moment, because it was in the 40s this morning, and then it warmed up into the 60s, and I'm just such a little happy Florida gal. I'm so happy because at Florida, it's like in the 80s right now, and this is the kind of fall weather that I am here for. So if you've lived in the north your whole life, like, you are blessed. Because in Florida, it's so hot in the fall that we don't even get a fall. Like, leaves don't change, nothing. It's just hot. But yeah, we've had a really good couple of weeks here, and we're actually moving on to Pennsylvania tomorrow. But when I post this video, we'll already have been in Pennsylvania for about a week. So I'm excited to go there too. But let's get into this video. My husband is the one who wrote all of these questions, and I have no idea what's in them. It's been folded like this ever since he wrote them, so this is kind of secret. So we're all in this together because I don't know. So the first question that he wrote down is, who are you? And who am I? I'm Caitlin, as I told you earlier. I am 24. My birthday was in May, and let's see. I gotta think of if I was sitting down talking to a friend, which we're friends, of course, I have to think of everything I would tell them. So Caitlin, 24. I've been married to Chris since March, so I've been a wifey since earlier this year, and it's definitely been a lot of fun. Let's see, what else? Who am I? I'm originally from Florida. I was actually born and raised in Florida and went to college in Florida, lived in Florida a little after college, a couple of years, and now just travel the country with my husband and our dog and our RV, and it makes my heart so happy. So yeah, that's who I am. Number 2, where are you from? So I already answered this question, but originally I am from Port Orange. It's a small town just south of Daytona, and my mom lived in Port Orange, and then my dad lived in New Smyrna while I was growing up, so I kind of went back and forth between the two. So yeah, that's the specifics of it. Number 3. Oh my gosh, this is actually a question that we heard last night. And of course, he would write it down. If you could have 100 duck-sized elephants or 1 elephant-sized duck, which one would you have? Even last night when we heard this question, I didn't know what I was gonna pick. Like, 'cause I love dogs, and seeing like a bunch of puppies like all together is the cutest thing ever. It just warms my heart. And so I feel like seeing 100 duck-sized elephants would just be the cutest thing ever, but it would be so hard to keep track of them. And then just 1 elephant-sized duck, I feel like that'd be way too big to keep track of. It's literally like a dinosaur. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go. Man, this is a really hard one. I'm gonna have to go 1 elephant-sized duck. I feel like having a massive duck would be really cool though. Could you imagine taking a massive duck on a walk? That'd be sick. Just walking in the middle of the road, because where else are you supposed to walk with an elephant-sized duck? Okay, if anyone can hear my conversation right now, they'd probably be really interested. Okay, what did you do before this? This is number 4, and I'm assuming when he says this, he's talking about Close to Creation. And what I did before was I actually taught for 2 years. Funny enough, that's not what I graduated with a degree in. I graduated with a degree in sport management and thought I wanted to go into teaching and physical education and that side of sport and coaching and everything. So I've actually coached basketball, I've coached swimming, which funny story, I never swam in high school. I pretty much, all I knew how to do was to swim. Like, I didn't know how to freestyle or backstroke or butterfly or none of those. And so then the coaches approached me at the end of my first year teaching and asked if I would help coach the next season. And I was like, sure, why not? So I went and learned everything you needed to know about swimming and coaching swimming because I had literally no idea. So I did coach swimming, but mainly I was a HOPE teacher, so it's health opportunities through physical education. Shout out to all my kids if you're watching this, which some of them do keep up with me on social, so I'd be interested to see if they're actually watching this. I did that for my first year, and then the second year I took over, it's called HSCA, or Health Science Collegiate Academy. So basically they did 2 years at the high school, kind of in a fast track program, and then 2 years at a college specifically for health science, which that was awesome. I got to meet so many amazing students, and I've just created such special bonds with them, and I still keep in contact with some of them now that I'm on the road. But I remember when I told them that I wasn't going to come back for teaching next year or the following year, and they were all like so sad but so excited that I got to live my dream. And so yeah, here I am. Hey kids. Teaching was awesome. Don't get me wrong, I know that a lot of people are leaving the profession right now, but at least for me, I never saw myself teaching for the rest of my life, personally. I knew that it was just kind of the stepping stone to get to wherever God was leading me, honestly. So now we're here. It really is a dream what I get to do. And I don't know if he asks any questions about what I do. I think he does later, so I'll talk more about Close to Creation. But yeah, that was my life before, and I wouldn't trade that part of my life, that season, for anything. But now it's just so cool to be able to do this. Okay, let's see. Number 5. How many times do you trip per hike? Okay. I'm not exactly a klutz, but that's interesting that he would ask this question. How many times do you trip per hike? I don't know, like maybe a couple. I mean, sometimes I'm not paying attention, especially in like a video, the last video I posted where I'm filming a lot of things too. So I'm trying to pay attention to the ground and like my surroundings, but it happens. I don't think I've fallen on a hike in a really long time, but as for like tripping and just trying to like catch myself, I mean, I probably do that a couple of times a hike. So geez, Chris, think I'm a klutz, huh? That's why you asked that question. Okay, number 6. What places are you visiting in the future? So Chris and I have mapped out a lot of the things that we want to do, or the places we want to go at least. As of right now, for this year, where we have actually set in stone planned out to go is Pennsylvania for 2 weeks, and then we'll be in Virginia for 2 weeks, and then we're going to be in South Carolina for 2 weeks, and then we are going to go back to Florida and actually be snowbirds for a couple of months. And God willing, we're going to go out west next spring, so we are super excited about that. The furthest west I've been is Utah. We went there for our honeymoon, and absolutely spectacular. Loved it. Would go back in a heartbeat, but we want to go like all the way out west, like all the way out to California, up the coast. I've never seen the Pacific coast, and I just like, especially when you get into Oregon and Washington, I just feel like that's so beautiful. The pictures I see are beautiful, at least. So I'm really excited to go there. But yeah, so as of right now, like set in stone where we're going are the places I mentioned at the beginning, and then Florida. We have our places booked for Florida. And then when it comes to going out west, that's still kind of in the works. So we'll see, but super exciting. All right. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Dang. That's a good one. I feel like we just talked about this a couple weeks ago with my nephew. Because my nephew actually had a really good answer. He was like, well, if I had to eat one thing for the rest of my life, I would want it to be somewhat healthy. So like maybe like a fruit salad. He's honestly like, he's really smart. He's 6. Chris, I think, said pizza. But for me, if I had to eat one food, I think what I said then, so I make this like banana nice cream, I guess you would call it, just like frozen bananas, and you, what is it called? Like in a food processor, you process them up, and I like to put like some like cocoa powder and like peanut butter, and if I'm feeling like sweet, like a little bit of maple syrup, but like nothing crazy. I think that's what I said. As for my answer now, I wonder if it changed. Oop, I know exactly what I would eat. So I've made this vegan Alfredo. I'm not vegan. I do eat, I would say, more plant-based. I don't really put a name to my diet. I just eat what I like. I eat a lot of plants. Sometimes I eat meat. I normally never eat dairy or cheese unless it's like goat's cheese, or I digress. But I've made this vegan Alfredo from Minimalist Baker, and it is so good. I mean, it's better than any Alfredo I've ever had, especially the ones that just come from a jar. This one is just like chef's kiss, delicious. So I think that's what I'd eat the rest of my life. And when I make it, I normally put like some peas in it, and then sometimes I'll get some of the, it's not Applegate, there's a specific brand of like vegan sausages that they make from potatoes and different, I don't know. Just basically crumble it. It's kind of like a beef crumble, and then put it in there, and it is just so good. I would probably have that for the rest of my life, because you also don't feel like super bloated afterwards like you would with a normal Alfredo because of all the dairy in it, at least for me. So yeah, you should go try it. Vegan Alfredo by Minimalist Baker. Like, so good. Maybe I'll link it below if you're interested. All right, let's see. Number 8. Why do round pizzas come in square boxes? I don't know. What are these questions? You know what? I totally did this because he did a first round of questions, and I asked him after he wrote them. I was like, okay, like, are there some funny ones in there? Like, is it a good mix? And he's like, no, I didn't know that you wanted funny ones. So he ended up rewriting them, and this is what I get. So I guess I got what I deserve because I asked him for like some funny ones, but yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know about number 8. Number 9. What is your ultimate goal for this channel? This one I'm super excited to answer, because I feel like I haven't talked about it too much, at least on YouTube. I only have 3 videos, so obviously I haven't talked about it too much. But Close to Creation is my baby. It came out of a time, like the time when I was teaching. That's where the idea kind of sparked. But I've always loved to travel. I've always loved to be out in nature. I mean, ever since I was little, I've always loved being outside and playing outside as a kid and growing up and traveling abroad. So I actually studied abroad in Germany for 4 months, and that time was absolutely incredible, and getting to explore Europe. And then as I've grown up, going and exploring more on my own as an adult, which is like crazy. I don't feel like an adult, but no longer am I going on vacations with my parents or going on trips with, you know, my parents. It's now I get to travel with my husband and my dog, and I think that it's just so special getting outside and traveling around this beautiful world, because this world is insanely beautiful. I mean, I don't know if you've seen pictures, you probably have, but it's just so spectacular. And so, I don't know, it's just, I really want to inspire people to just get out and explore this beautiful world that God has created, but also get closer to Him, because I feel like when you get out into nature, you do inevitably get closer to the one who created it all. And that's the beauty of it. And I know it's not for everyone. I know that people have their own opinions on how the earth was formed and scientific, and I'm not gonna get into that right now, where I really don't honestly plan on getting into that much on this channel. I'm just going to talk about my faith and who I am and what I believe, and that's what Close to Creation is. It's just getting closer to creation, getting closer to the God who created it all. And I'm really sorry that I keep looking away because there's a lot of things happening behind the camera right now. But it's funny because I chose this spot. I thought that it was gonna be like quiet and no one was gonna come back here, but evidently it's popping, okay? But good thing though, we only have one more question. How can everyone follow you on this journey? So obviously, like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications on YouTube. So YouTube is one of my main platforms, but I also have a website, which is where I post a lot of blogs. So I blog a lot about our RV life and funny stories that happen to me on the road. If you look next week, I'm actually going to be posting a really funny story about something that happened to me in St. Louis. That was a fun time, going to visit the Arch by myself in downtown St. Louis. That was a traumatic story. And so I'm sharing that next week on the blog. And I post stories and stuff like that every Wednesday. But definitely go sign up for that weekly newsletter. I'm not going to spam your inbox, but it's just a way for me to stay connected to you, because I do have Instagram and Facebook, but I'm not using it too much right now. I went on a social media fast for a couple of weeks, and I feel like Instagram and Facebook was just not a good place for me. I was just comparing myself to everyone else, and I don't know, I didn't feel good about it every time I went on it, and I was just spending way too much time on it. So these are going to be more of like, they're going to be the bigger outlets for me, rather than Instagram and Facebook. So you can go follow Instagram and Facebook. That's still cool, but I'm probably not going to be posting on there at all, because YouTube, and I also post a little bit on Pinterest, because on my blog I do post nature devotionals. So that's another thing about Close to Creation. I love posting nature devotionals on my blog because I just think that it's so interesting, the way that Bible uses nature to show us things and to teach us things, and I just think that it's so cool. So I love to write, so all of my writings will be on my blog, whether that's the RV life updates or the nature devotionals or the story times, whatever it is, it's all going to be there on my website. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video and get to know me. This is definitely a platform where I don't just want it to be about me. I want to interact with you all, and I want to explore this beautiful world and meet new people, and so I think that YouTube is a really cool place to do that. So yeah, like I said before, like, subscribe, share this video with a friend to help get to know me more too, and I'm just so excited to see where Close to Creation is going to grow and where it's going to go and grow. But yeah, just thank you again for watching, and I will talk to y'all real soon. Had to do the finger guns. Had to do the finger guns, whatever. Just want to make sure. All right, we're recording. Just wanted to make sure. My bike just fell over. Rather than, there's a really loud, shh, quiet on set please. There's a really loud truck and I think they're laying gravel. This is the perfect spot to do this. But hopefully, that's why I wore my AirPods, because I knew there was probably going to be some background noise.